Hi guys, welcome to Make With Me Monday. My name is Robyn French-Smith. I don't know why I'm so energetic today. My name is Robyn French-Smith. It's Make With Me Monday. Let's make something together. What did I do with my gloves? I found them right here. Whew. Guys, welcome to Make With Me Monday. Today we're gonna be, don't know why this looks so weird today. Today we're gonna be working on emulsified sugar scrubs. And I'm gonna be making, this is kind of a special one because I want it to be for faces. And so, yeah. I have a couple special ingredients that I'm gonna show you. This was gonna be berry themed, but then anyway, it's still gonna be berry themed, but it's gonna be a little bit less berry themed because I broke something. Okay, so normally I'm gonna follow the emulsified sugar scrub, and we have like a base formulation, and then I broke it up into like different like ways that you could use that. And so today I'm gonna follow the hydration formulation. Okay, and we're gonna change it up a little bit. I'm gonna use some olive oil that I infused with juniper berries. Super good for skin, antioxidant properties. I don't know, maybe anti-aging. I looked up a scientific journal thing about it, and it said maybe. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna say that, but I'm just saying it's juniper is really good for your skin. And it's in an olive oil infusion, and that blog post is going to be going on the blog this week, probably Tuesday, so I'll show you how I did it. And then I was going to use some really beautiful calendula infused, however you say it, infused avocado oil that I had, and the jar is now sitting right over the edge of my table, wrapped in a nest of towels, because it fell off the edge of my table, hit a crate, and broke. Like, these jars are super thick. I've only had one break in all the years that I've been working with them, other than this one today, and it's super sad because I was going to strain that infusion in front of you guys. My heart broke a little. It's okay. Anyway, so we're just going to use some regular avocado oil for that. And I also have some cocoa butter that does not infuse with anything. And then instead of the shea butter that it calls for, I'm going to use this rosemary infused mango butter. And I originally made these for the shampoo bars, but I'm going to use them for the sugar scrub today. So I was just trying to do some fun, different infusions because I want it to be for the face. So I want it to have like kind of those really good properties. The other thing that I'm changing up on this is I'm using some olive, and I'll explain why in just a second. But let me get this baby started. I had a container set aside to melt all this in. Where did she go? Hold on. Because I don't want to melt it in, like, obviously I don't want to stick this in the microwave. Oh, there it is. Okay, and everything was sanitized and sterilized, so that's really important whenever you're working with sugar scrubs, anything like that. So and I have mostly everything measured out except for the olive oil and the avocado oil. So I'm so glad to see that there are people watching. I can't see your comments if you're commenting, or I don't think I can. Maybe that will pop up in just a second, but I'm just glad that, like, whoops, that was not on. I'm just glad that there are people here watching. So I've been struggling at, like, okay, Make With Me Monday is a literal highlight of my week. It's like, it makes me super happy. Sometimes it's, when life is like getting real hard, okay, doing a Make With Me Monday can be the thing that like makes me super happy. It makes me like ready to just jump out of bed and excited because I have something new to show you guys. And so Facebook's been playing with their way they do events and lives and hosting things, and it's making me sad. So, you know, viewership has been a little bit down, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep fighting for you guys. Keep showing up every day for you guys. Anyway, it's been kind of a bummer, but I'm like, I'm okay. I'm gonna handle it. But so instead of setting it up as an event this week, I just announced it this morning. I thought about posting a monthly calendar that says like this week I'm gonna do emulsified sugar scrubs. Next week I'm gonna do, I don't know, lip butters. What? What? What are you even? What? Do we even have lip butters on the docket? Yeah, maybe. Whatever. And like saying like, okay, this month this is what you can expect. I thought about doing that too. The other thing that I'm adding to this is I'm adding some cetyl alcohol to it just for like conditioning properties, because this is going to be for face. I want it to be like a little bit softer. And then we're going to use our all of them. So the reason that I like to use all of them is, number one, well, I don't normally use all of them. It's a more expensive e-wax. And it, oh, hold on, we forgot our mango butter. So the reason I don't normally use all of them is it's a more expensive e-wax, but it's also kind of considered more natural. So for face, I think it's a great application to use it for something that's going to go on your face. The other reason that I like all of them for a face scrub is it does have some cleansing properties that other e-waxes don't necessarily have. And so I wanted to kind of incorporate that so it's not left, you know, sitting on the skin. You want your face to be hydrated and glowing and emulsified. Wait, no, not emulsified. You don't want your face to be. You want your face to be hydrated and glowing and beautiful. That works. But you don't want that oil to be sitting on your skin when you're done. So that's why I'm using all of them for this face scrub. So, you know, you want a little bit more natural approach. It's good for that, check. And then if you're maybe using it for something like face, where you can justify that higher price point, then that's a good option for you too. So I'm gonna put all of this in the microwave. You could use a double boiler if you want to. I'm just not like a huge fan of the double boiler if I don't have to use it, mostly because it gets really hot in my workshop, and then I have humidity just kind of floating around in the air. So, and I just finished filming the purple color study for the YouTube. So yeah, I have fresh bath bombs in here, basically, is what I'm saying. Hey, Facebook, let my people comment. Hey, Facebook, leave those kids alone. And then for the last, I'm just adding a little bit of beeswax. It's not like totally necessary. I think you could probably leave it out if you wanted to, but I'm just adding a little bit of beeswax. And yeah, we're gonna heat this up. So while it heats up, what are we talking? I'll show you the color I'm going to use. This is called the. Are we connected? Are we back? Hello, hi. Oh, and I see a comment now. Oh my God, Angela says hello. Oh my God. Sometimes I rewatch these. I try not to, but sometimes I do. And I'm like, I see you guys' comments. And there's always like a lag time between when I see it and when you put so many highs now. Susan says hi. Hi. Stephanie says hi. Hi, Stephanie. Dana says hello. And then somebody, Pamela says hello from Lloydminster, Saskatchewan, Canada. Kenyatta. Hello, Kenyatta, Canada. Hello. Oh, I'm so glad to see comments now. This is exciting. Janviette, that's a cool name. CJ says, say the color again. The color is called Doo-Wop, and it's from Muddy Soap Co. I really like it. It has a purple color shift to it. I don't personally make, I don't personally make nail polish, but I think I could see that being really pretty for nail polish. I could see it being really pretty for like an eyeshadow. I don't know if it's, you know, approved for use on lips. It says not safe for use in bath bombs, so my guess is that it's probably not approved for use on lips, so you wouldn't, you know, I'll have to double check with Susie on that. But for a scrub, it's a great option for a scrub. It's a great option for a body butter, something like that. So, you know, sometimes if you have those colors that are not safe for use in bath bombs and they don't play well in soap and you don't know what to do with them, these are some kind of other options for you. But yeah, I think as a nail polish, that would be really pretty because it has that color shift. Not that I make nail polishes. Just a suggestion. Okay, we're almost all the way melted. It probably would melt. There's just a few little chunks in there. I'm going to keep stirring it though. So the number one, the Emulsified Sugar Scrub. I don't know why. I did not expect of all my children, I did not expect this one to be the problem child, but she's the one that most people have problems with. And it's honestly, it's like it's an older recipe of mine. It's a recipe I've been using for like a really long time. So I was pretty confident in its ability to just kind of slide right in there and just be easy to use. I did not expect people to have issues with it. So I think the number one thing is that, and I did a bunch of, like after people had issues with it, I spent like an entire weekend troubleshooting it and trying to figure out why people were having problems. I didn't know if it was the e-wax. I didn't know if it was the ratios in the recipe. I didn't know what was going on. And eventually I realized, like, okay, everything, I was just doing the same thing over and over, and I could not get the recipe to separate. So people were having issues with the recipe separating, and no matter what I did, I could not get the recipe to separate. And then I realized when that's what's going on, then it's more likely that it's an issue with the process and not the ingredients, because I tried substituting a bunch of different ingredients to replicate this separation issue that people were having. I bought a bunch of e-waxes. I bought like e-waxes from Amazon, and I do say that the Millard e-wax was a little bit weird to work with, but it still worked. It was just a little bit more touchy to work with, but it was the process, I think, where I was able to hone in and be like, wait a second, I think that there's something going on with the process. And it's one of those things where, you know, writing formulations and recipes and instructions is really, it's not hard, but it is, because if you've ever tried to explain to somebody how you know how to do what you do, you can sometimes find that it can be hard to explain to people how you do something that has now become a muscle memory or just kind of intuitive for you. And so that was one of those things where I realized that this is what I do. I get my hot waxes and my oils and I put them in my mixer and I let them mix until they drop to a temperature where I can add my vitamin E oil, my fragrance, and my preservative. And I've always done it like this, and it never occurred to me that this would be like a key part of it, to make sure that these are mixed before you add anything else, before you add your sugars, before you add anything else. So if you're having trouble with the emulsified sugar scrubs, I would say this might be the key that you're missing. If you have made them, do I have some down here? If you have made them, well, even that one's not too bad. This was one of the ones when I was testing that I finally got to separate, and it doesn't actually look that bad right now, but it did initially have some oils pulling on it. Anyway, if that happens, one of the things you can do is, if it's already made, you're past the point of no return. You've already added your sugar to this and it's separating. You can just try adding a little bit of polysorbate 80. I would say start at 1% and see if that helps. But you can add polysorbate 80 to the finished recipe. And the good thing about that is that you're not having to heat it. So you're not going to lose your preservative, your fragrance, or your vitamin E oil. So yeah, if you've added it and you're having issues, polysorbate 80 is going to be my go-to fix for after the fact. Otherwise, let's test this. Okay, so it's at 159. It still needs to drop just a lot. Oy. Y'all, I'm so sad about my oil. Makes me so sad. What did I do with my... I had a spoon. A measuring spoon. Makes me so sad. Oh, breaks my heart. It's too little. Breaking my heart. Okay. So, yeah. Anyway. And this, what sucks about it is I have different like types of infusions I've done. I've done some where, it's called the folk method. And so you have kind of two variations of that. You can heat it up and do it really quickly. I say quickly, you know, over the course of several hours, or you can have it in a jar and just kind of let it sit. And that one had been sitting for 8 weeks. It's fine though. It's fine. It's fine. If you notice, the oils had kind of a green appearance to them. I have found, especially for the, I haven't tried the juniper infused. You can't even see that it has a green look to it. But I do have another one over here. So this one is Comfrey and MCT, and you can see how green that got. So you know MCT is medium chain triglyceride. It's basically fractionated coconut oil, and MCT is clear. So this is with Comfrey in it, and it has a beautiful deep green, olive green color. So each thing that you infuse into oil is going to have different properties. But with the rosemary infused mango butter, I haven't noticed that it adds that green color to the shampoo bars, which is what I initially made it for. So I think that that is fine. I don't think it's gonna, I don't think that that final color will be in your, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that final color will be in your product. I think it'll be fine. So anyway, we're at 140, so we're almost there. It's dropping like it's hot, because it is actually hot and it's dropping temperature. Just gonna give it a rub. The jars I'm using today are these low profile double wall jars. They're like kind of thicker, and I think that they're not glass, but they kind of add that luxurious look to these face scrubs because they are so thick looking. They're thick with 3 C's. So, like, you know, compared to something like this where when we put the product in, you're going to see like kind of that gap between the product and the wall. It'll look nice. Just kind of adds like that extra nice look to it, you know what I'm saying? Oh my God. Okay, so our stuff is at temp, so we can start adding our, this is vitamin E oil, and then this is a preservative. Now the recipe says to use Optifin. Normally I do use Liquid Germall Plus. I have been using from TKB. I've been using one that they have called Cap 2, and I really like it because I can add it. They have an oil and water, and then they have a water, like they have an oil soluble and then they have a water soluble. And the Cap 2 is the oil soluble, so I've been using it for my shampoo bars, and I really like it because it has a higher temperature. I think you can add it at like 157 versus Liquid Dermal Plus, which needs to be added at a lower temperature. So normally I do use Liquid Dermal Plus. And this one I am using Optifin this time though, because it's going to go on the face. Gail says, hey, I made it. Yeah, Gail, you're here. Welcome. And then this is a fragrance oil blend that I've already measured out. So that's what that is. And I wanted to make sure that I was very precise about it because it's going to go on the face. So I don't want there to be like, you know, if you kind of like over pour a little bit on a body scrub, it's like whatevs. But if, you know, if you're losing a couple grams off, it's fine, like whatever. But for face, I want to be like really like, you know, I want to make sure everything's going fine with it. And yeah, so if when I was done with this, right, I'm going to add my sugar now. But if when I was done with it, I had problems with the scrub separating, the oil separating, I could add a little bit of polysorbate 80 or polysorbate 20 maybe if you wanted it to be a little bit lighter. I don't like the way polysorbate 80, it kind of adds like, it's because it emulsifies, it kind of pulls the oil a little bit, and so it's a little bit more cleansing, and I don't really like it. But Angela says, will these be a bit thinner, or do they harden up like the regular emulsified scrub? These should be, this is the same texture technically, so they should be kind of like this, where they're like not hard, okay, but they're kind of like, you know, a little bit looser. I did add the acetyl alcohol to it, so I am interested to see what that does. Like if, I mean, I think I know what it's gonna do, but you know, texture wise, I'm not 100% sure what it'll do to the texture. I know what it'll do to the skin feel. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how that changes it. Sweaty hand plus glove equals sadness. I can't do it, Captain. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Okay. Whew. That was intense there for a minute, you know? I just didn't know what was happening. Okay. And now we're going to add our sugar to it. I did that last time too. And then I ended up having to like go in with like a tiny brush and clean this because the wax is hardened up on it. Oh my God. Yeah, why? This is a dropping kind of day for me. I can't believe I dropped that oil. I didn't drop it. I was moving things and it was on the edge over there and it like flew off. Sadness. You can use other things other than sugar if you want to. You could use salt. You could use, you could add like jojoba beads. You could add poppy seeds. You could add like a few different things to it to kind of round it out a little bit more if you wanted to. And now let's do this. It will thicken up, so it kind of depends on the oils that you choose for it, because it will thicken up. I don't know why I'm going to do this again. It will thicken up over the course of several days, so don't judge it right off the bat. You know, if you add extra sugar, you may not end up liking it. You know, if you add extra sugar right off the bat because you think it's too thin, then you might end up being sad when it's too thick. So this one I ended up adding extra sugar to it, and it's okay, it's good. I just do think, you know, it's a little bit thicker, so it's better for body maybe. So, hold on, did I miss something? Okay, yeah, it was just Angel's question. CJ says honey powder. Yeah, honey powder would be good. There's a few other things that we suggested, like, gosh, you could add, I just want it to be a little bit more pink. You could add ground walnut shell, I think it's called. You know, that would be better for body probably because it's going to be scrubbier. You could use bigger salts if you're going to do like body, like a flake salt if you wanted to. There's just a lot of things that you could do with it to kind of really customize it and make it your own. You could add cranberry seeds. There's kind of just like a whole array of things that you could add to make it scrubby. So, you know, you're not stuck with it just being sugar. It can kind of be anything that you want it to be. I can't remember if this is in the sugar scrub, I think it's in the whip soap. I think we do talk about how much preservative though. So the preservative, each preservative that you use is going to have a different percentage that you use it at and a different temperature range where it works best. So make sure that you're paying attention to that. Don't just be like, okay, this says that I can use it at 1% because maybe this particular one needs to be used at 5%, or you know. And the way that you would figure that out is, so say I hadn't added my preservative yet, I would just take this and then I would weigh it, and then I would say 1% of that, or whatever, 5% of that, of the total batch weight, and that would give me my amount that I needed to use for my preservative. Where's my scale? Y'all see I brought she got a nice scale. I should put a label on her, you know, because my mixers have labels. So I should put a label on my scale. But then what do I name her, you know? Because the other one doesn't have a label yet. And then does she start to feel a little sad and rejected? Okay, see right now how it's like liquidy? Don't worry, it's gonna thicken up, okay? So don't let that like freak you out, okay? It's gonna thicken up. I had a spoon pulled aside for scooping. Where did she go? Might have to clean another one. Hold on. Where did she go? You know, somebody comes in here sometimes and they organize stuff for me, and I just don't appreciate it. I just sprayed that with 91%, or just sprayed that with 70% rubbing alcohol. 70% is better for sterilizing. 91% is good, but it dries too fast to really do a very good job at sterilizing. So yeah, 70% is the way to go. Okay, so you can see it's already starting to thicken up. It's not quite as liquid as it was before. So I'm gonna open these jars up. Now I think that this is going to make 8 jars. It should be about 16 ounces. However, every jar is going to have a different amount that you can fit inside of it. So I'm not going to like be too pressed if I can't get exactly 2 ounces in here, or if I need to use more than 2 ounces. I'm not going to worry about that too much. I should probably set my scale on here. I mean, I should probably set my bowl on the scale instead of doing it like this. And the next one I'll do it like that. Okay, hold on, let's see what we got. Okay, so that's 2.10, and I think that looks pretty good. I might top them off later, but yeah, and that's like super nice. Now normally for a sugar scrub, like, you want a bigger jar, but since this is a face scrub and we have some kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say bougie ingredients, but you know, a little bit nicer. We got some infused oils going on in there. We got some juniper. Okay, so it is a little bit nicer, and we're gonna make sure that you know, people know that this is not for your whole body. You could do infused oils for your whole body, but I particularly think that they would be better for face, in my opinion. So nice, right? Here, I'll put them right here so you can see them. Okay, and we'll keep going. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that you guys have questions about. For the body scrubs, I topped them with, whoops, got some on the side of the jar there. For the body scrubs, I topped them with sprinkles from our sprinkles recipe. I would not do that with this, obviously, because this is going on top of somebody's face. But I do have some jojoba beads that I might sprinkle on top. I think that might be cute. Or even a little, I don't know, maybe like a little, because it's a berry theme, so maybe like a little melt and pour blueberry or something like that. Something kind of cute. I think there's a bunch of different cute things that you could do with it. And if you are in Patreon, I will be posting, I actually have some templates for you guys for the body butters, and I will probably, because you know I'm already doing the body butters and they use very close to the same template, I will probably post some templates for these as well. So if you're in Patreon, that's a cool little extra thing for you guys. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. Okay, so what would you guys like to see next? I like to take requests, audience requests. So, you know, what are some projects that you like to see? Sometimes I'm like, I just want to make bath bombs because bath bombs are my favorite thing to make. But I also know that I have to make other things because you guys want to see other things. So sometimes I'll kind of go through and I'll be like, you know what, I haven't done this one in a while, let me do that. So you guys can let me know, like, what are some things that you would want to see done during a live. And then I think, so for last month, I tried out scheduling every Make With Me Monday as a live event. I think the results on that were a little bit mixed, so kind of so-so. So for this month, maybe I'll just post a calendar and say, like, this is what's up this month, this is what's on in the queue this month, and then you guys can kind of see. And maybe that's a better way of doing it. I don't know. The other thing that I've thought about doing for the Make With Me Mondays, and I've seriously thought about doing this because for Patreon, I use YouTube Live, and that I don't like that for YouTube Live, I have to use this aspect ratio because I feel like I can't get as tight in on what I'm working on. But I'm able to schedule it. Like, I can schedule a live, post it, and then you guys can see, like, it goes live in an hour, 2 hours, and you don't have to try to sit there and try to figure out your time zone. I had a Zoom call from New York like 2 weeks ago, and the amount of anxiety that I had trying to make sure that I had the right time zone transposition was insane. Okay, I had so much anxiety. I basically didn't sleep that night because I was worried I wouldn't have the right time zone. So people are like, is this, I think somebody asked me, is this 11 p.m. Pacific time? And I was like, I think so. I really don't know. Okay, this one was messy and all over the place and way too full. That's fine. It'll probably be personal use. A couple of these actually are going to go to my mom anyway, because she's used, you know, she will like tell me that she's using product that I gave her like 2 years ago, and that's sad and embarrassing, and also not a good idea because it's like way outside of its expiry date. So, Gail says, how do I use the templates? Oh, okay. That is a good question. I can actually do a video on that for Patreon, so that's a good question. But basically, you would go into, I use Canva, and I use all free elements in Canva, so you don't have to have a paid subscription for Canva. You would just go onto Canva, you could download the file, or like save it to your Canva, and then you can go in and you can edit everything. It's already laid out, and you know, I do like a generic, like it's pretty. So I did some for the shampoo bar. They were pretty, they were generic. You can go in and change all the elements and change the ingredients if you need to specify the ingredients and stuff like that. But everything's in place, so it's like got the weight, it's got the address, it's properly set up for cosmetic labeling laws in the US. So, you know, at least all the framework is there for you. But I could go over probably in detail on Canva how to use those, or in Patreon. And then Lee says rolled Wonder Bar. Okay, I think I did that maybe kind of recently, but yeah, I think Wonder Bar gets the most requests on it. So, yeah, I could probably do that too. Okay, that's pretty much it for today. I mean, I'm going to put jars on these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the lids off anywhere I spilled, and I'm going to use an alcohol prep pad, and I'm going to run it across this rim to make sure that it's clean, and then I'm going to use some press seals to put on there, so that I don't have to do shrink bands or anything else around it. It's just got a press seal inside. When I do ship these, I do wrap them in I put them in their own separate plastic bag just in case they're gonna leak. Because sugar scrubs, I mean, I have some that I love. It's like my favorite sugar scrub, and it's still gonna leak a little bit. So I do always kind of make sure that I package it in a way that won't leak. It's gonna go through temperature changes if you're shipping it and stuff like that. So yeah, but once I do that, and then I will put the lids on it and label it, and it'll be ready to go. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it more than you ever know. I will include links in the description to this recipe, where you could get this shirt. How cute is this? Happy making. You can, you know, whatever. This is in our Etsy shop. What else? Where I got the mica, and any other questions that you guys might have. How to find Patreon, I'll put a link to that. So yeah, anything else that you guys might have, and then I'll go back through, and if you have questions later, I will, you know, that I missed, I will go back through and answer those as well if I didn't answer it during the live. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thanks for making some emulsified sugar scrubs, and as always, happy making.